Good evening, everyone. Today is May the 10th, 2022. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for another opportunity of prayer. We thank you, God, for allowing us to see yet another day, oh God. I thank you, God, for my guests tonight, oh God. I thank you, God, for all your children and the ones that are watching, oh God. We ask you, God, that you will bless this episode, oh God. Let us retrieve this information, oh God, and hold it dear to our hearts, oh God, and be a part of resolution, oh God. I ask you, God, that you will comfort in all those that are going through bad weather, wherever they are, oh God. Those that are dealing with the loss, oh God, of a loved one or a family member, oh God. We just ask you, God, that you would comfort and keep them during this particular time, oh God. We ask all these things in the mighty and the matchless name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Good evening, everyone. You guys, come on in. Let me know that you're tuning in the comment sections. As usual, feel free to leave your comments and your questions in the comment section. I do not know where I put my glasses, so I'm going to do these Born Day shout outs without my glasses. Y'all bear with me. I want to say happy born day to my man Kevin Counts, Big Rod's older brother, over my mate, Big Kev. He's down in Australia. Happy born day, bro. Jillian Garrett, Yolanda Carter, my man Trivy Tribe, Travis Giles, Erica Wright, one of my neighbors growing up, Scott Tucker, James Johnson, uh, my man Walt Dog out there in Little Rock, Arkansas, my little brother right here, man. Happy born day, Walt. Bianca Day, my new homie, new bro, King J, out here in North Carolina, by the way of Michigan. Elizabeth De La Para, Courtney Pugh, Cutie Courtney, as we call her back in high school days. Kenneth Casey Clemens, Ty Cook, Tanya Whitehead, my man Ty Gamble, Kimberly Hatterfield, Sean Bates Robinson, my man Big Mo Hawkins, as well. Happy born day. And last but not least, Mr. J.U. Weiss himself, my cousin Ant, Mr. Nice, on his born day, his milestone born day, the Big 5-0. Happy Mike Singletary again, bro. I want to say happy anniversary to my cousins Tina and LJ. They celebrated 9 years of marriage on today, so congratulations to them. Congratulations to everybody else that's celebrating marriages, different occasions. Shada Willis, one of our former guests who graduated on this weekend. Maya Palmer. Maya, too, happy birthday and congratulations on your graduation on this previous weekend. Everybody else that graduated, Miss Parker, who graduated from GSU today. Ray also had a birthday on the day, so happy birthday, Ray. And everybody that's just celebrating, man. Big ups to you guys. You know, as usual, our prayers and our hearts go out to anybody that lost someone on this previous weekend. And I know Mother's Day was rough for a lot of people, with Mother's Day passing this previous Sunday. So I hope that everyone had a beautiful Mother's Day. And if your mother isn't here with you anymore, physically, on all my posts, I kept using the word physically because they're never truly gone from us. We always keep them with us. You know what I mean? It's up to us how we hold them near and dear to our heart and our memories, that when they are gone physically, they're still here with us. You know what I mean? And we be able to lean back on those times where they're just close present, just to hear they laugh, just to have a conversation with whatever have you. But, you know, everybody that was going through those difficult times, my heart goes out to you all. And I just hope that you had a wonderful Mother's Day and some kind of way you remembered your mother and the good things about her, things that you miss and whatnot. So with that being said, we're gonna get ready to get into the night show. Okay, yeah, I gotta disclaim. Somebody was texting me, quite a few viewers was texting me throughout the week and asking me was I gonna speak on the whole, I think his name Kevin Samuels. Is that his name? I think that's his name. Kevin Samuels. What did I have? What was my opinion on that whole situation? And condolences to his family, his viewers, people that like him, rock with him, whatever. But as far as me, I don't have any say so about him. I've never watched any of them. I just know he was controversial. I wasn't into the dude. So how do I feel about his death? I don't feel any kind of way. Not that I'm heartless, whatever. I don't have any emotions connected to the dude. I don't even know who the dude is. So it has no bearing on me. But I was seeing different posts about people talking about it shows people character, how they can celebrate the death of somebody and all this other kind of stuff. I stress it every week on this show, man. Everybody has to get to the point in life as adults where we understand that, guess what? Our point of view is just that. It's just our point of view. Our opinion is our opinion. It's not law for everybody else. I don't expect anybody else to agree with Marvin Bennett's philosophies 100%. So if something is offensive to me, it doesn't mean that it's offensive to somebody else. So I mean, we need to kind of like just pipe down with all this judgment and way we condone people. How can you laugh at somebody losing their life? Shoot, there's some people I don't want to see anybody dead like everybody say, but I would feel comfortable knowing that some people didn't exist in this world anymore as well. That's not me being mean. That's just the truth of the matter. You know, we all would do better off, but that's neither here nor there. That's all I got to say about that. I wanted to address it because a lot of people had asked me about it, or was I going to touch on it this weekend? But again, you know, condolences to his family, people that rock with him, or whatever the case may be. But it has no bearing on my life. I didn't lose any sleep. I didn't gain any sleep because of his death. So that's where I'm at.
Off topic. He's off topic. Yeah.
Exactly. So with that being said, we're gonna get into tonight. I'm gonna introduce tonight's guest. Beautiful young lady that I met a few years ago by happenstance, and I don't believe that God ever has us meet people by chance, so to speak. So it was just our time to meet each other, and we've grown a good friendship over that time. I like to think, you know what I mean, somebody I can call and talk to when I need to, or I'm going through certain things. She's proven that, you know, over the last, ever since I met her. So I kind of wanted to get her on the show. Since I started the show, you know, it took almost 2 years to actually get her on here, but she finally did it, and I'm glad she waited until she did it because we actually talked about something, huh?
On purpose.
Yeah, you know, and I'm glad she waited. You know, like I said, God's timing again. You know, He knew that this would be the space and time for you to be here, so we could actually talk about something that just really actually matters in life. You know what I mean? And bring some awareness and some insight to different things that people go through and whatnot, as opposed to just light conversation about Kevin Samuels or whatever the case may be. And you know, there's a time and space for everything, but I'm real big on bringing awareness to things. And we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about Down syndrome. Nice guest. She has a daughter that has Down syndrome, and I'm gonna let her get into it. But I want to introduce the beautiful, talented, gifted entrepreneur doing big things now, Miss Torey Britton.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Likewise, thank you for being here. Tell people a little bit about yourself so they know. Give them a little background on you.
Well, I am a native of Georgetown, South Carolina. So I've been in Raleigh for 13, 14 years. I've lost count. And like you said, I have a daughter with Down syndrome. She's 21 now. She's actually a twin. So I have 3 kids, a 26-year-old and 2 21-year-old. And one of the 21-year-old has Down syndrome. And so she's out of high school. And so now we're on to the next chapter in life. And doing so, trying to make sure that she's successful in doing things, we came across, you know, some hurdles and came across some, you know, things that were missing in the system in our community for people like her. So that's it, a little bit about me.
Right. And don't forget to add that the fact that you're a gorgeous grandma too.
Oh yeah, I have to.
I always laugh when you be posting the pictures of the kids. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I can't forget the 2 grandboys. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so you know that's kind of what we're gonna be dealing with tonight. You know, just some of the struggles that we face, or some of the challenges. Like, I guess that's where I would start for you, Torey, is with being a parent of this. Like, and I seen something beautiful when I went to lalasdreamcenter's page earlier too, saying something about that when you're the parent of a child with Down syndrome, it doesn't make you a special parent. It doesn't make the child special. It makes you a special, something to that effect.
Makes you a special parent.
It makes you a special parent, yeah. And I thought that was like beautiful. What's good, Ron? Ron told me that.
Hey, Ron.
Ron said, my people, she got something major brewing. That's what's up. Yeah, exactly, man. We're gonna have to get out here and support too. But yeah, it's like you know, for you, what was that news like? Okay, well, let's go back. Let's go back to the diagnosis. How did you find out that your child had Down syndrome?
Well, at birth, there is a test that when you're pregnant, you can have done to see if there's a possibility that your child would have Down syndrome,
Okay.
which me, I was 20, 21, and I did not get that test because normally people that have Down syndrome, it was statistics that people with Down syndrome were born to women of 40 plus. And
Okay.
with me being a younger adult having a child, that test wasn't ran. And well, I thank God it wasn't, because you know what comes of it if you decide to keep or not to keep. So I found out at birth, I had a cesarean, and they just took her straight to MUSC. She was born in Georgetown. So they took her straight to Charleston at MUSC. She had heart issues, so she was on a breathing tube for about six to 7 months, to help her with her breathing. And so pretty much she was in the hospital till she was 3 months old. So just getting the idea of having a child with Down syndrome, I never knew anything about individuals with Down syndrome. So it was something new to me that I had to really get out and learn and figure out the services that she needed as a newborn to make sure that she's able to talk, eat at that particular time, um, use her tongue a certain way, make sure she's hearing, things, just the early childhood development.
Okay. Now, with that, what did now? I was watching some things, learning, just kind of trying to get myself a little bit familiar about
Mm-hmm.
being in that, familiarizing myself with being in a situation like that. And I was watching different videos and whatnot, what I could find on YouTube. And it's like I found one of the interesting things that they pointed out in most of the videos that was reoccurring was the theme of there's nothing wrong with you. Down syndrome is not a disease. But was there ever a part of you as a parent when you found out you have a child with this, even though you know now that there wasn't anything wrong with you, so to speak, does that ever part of play into your psyche? Like, was this something that I did or something that I could have avoided as a parent? Or like does that play a part mentally?
Being a young mother, yeah, because I didn't know anything about Down syndrome. So of course I replayed a lot of things in my head. What did I do wrong? How did I end up with a child with Down syndrome? Anything I could have done differently. What did I eat? And being from the South, a couple people touched my stomach. So I was like, oh my God, I had these people touching my stomach, and now, they curse my child. So it's a lot of things that played in my head. But as I grew and learned about the genetic disorder, it's nothing that could have been prevented on my end. But yeah, psychologically at the beginning, before you even know, anything about it, yeah,
Now,
definitely.
now, for someone that's watching or someone that may watch this on YouTube later, like that's going through this here at the early stages, at the beginning stages, can you speak to them directly on that mother, that father, that the work? That's at that stage in their point in their life now, or whenever they view this. But you're here to tell them that this has nothing at all to do with you. What was a part of your healing process of moving on past that thought that, you know what, like what was that moment of clarity before you, or how did you get to that moment of clarity where, you know what, this was unavoidable?
Me being a mother,
Okay.
loving my child, regardless of what, is the situation. I can't do anything about it. I'm a mother. Let's just take care of what we need to take care of to make sure she has what she needs, and let's just move forward.
Exactly.
So,
So I like that. So more or less the mentality, we're gonna play the hand that we dealt and we still gonna win. Like,
no
I like
going,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so you are a single mom, correct? Or
Yes,
do
but at
yeah.
that particular time, I was married to her father, but
Okay.
I've been single since she's been 5.
All right.
Single
Now,
parent since she's been 5.
now speak to some of the challenges of that. Like I can only imagine. I can't speak, so I want to. I want to go ahead and apologize. And I meant to do that at the top too. I want to apologize if I sound what's the word I'm looking for? Insensitive or not politically correct, which I never care about being politically correct. It's just you know what my heart is. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I'm just putting that out there, disclaimer out there. So, apologizing ahead of time if I say something that sounds like, dude, what are you talking about? But what was it? I can only imagine that it would take more patience in dealing with that as a parent, as opposed to, I don't want to say normal child, but the one that doesn't have Down syndrome. Like, is that something that's real, or it really isn't the same?
It depends on the personality.
Okay.
So to speak about my daughter, Jayla, she's bossy.
I wonder where she get that from.
Watch it. So she pretty much knows what she wants, and she's demanding, but in a good way. So you just, like any other child, you train them up the way that you want them to go, right? So it comes with structure, and she definitely had the structure at an early age. So I can't say that it was harder having a child with Down syndrome compared to my other kids, because she listens versus the other kids, they talk back. So it's a give or take.
Gotcha. I like that. And so that, and it's so I don't even know where this thought came from, but like, do you as a parent, when you have a child that doesn't have any special needs or whatever the case may be, we see where children, so to speak, we've all done it. We all adults now. Children they play on their parents' emotions, so to speak, like to get out of a beating or a disciplinarian or get out of trouble, so to speak. Do you feel, did you feel like you have to kind of scale that differently when it came to her?
No.
Nah. Okay.
Honestly, kids with Down syndrome are just like any other kid. The only difference is they have this disorder, and it depends on the level of the Down syndrome. You have like the mild cases, you have moderate cases, and you have severe cases. So the kids that have severe Down syndrome, you have to like tend to them more and explain more. They require more. So with a mild cases, it may be someone just like you and I who just have small features of having Down syndrome. And then you have my daughter, which is moderate. She's not severe, but she's like in between. So she's just like you and I that just need a little extra help, but she's not able to be left alone for a long period of time, where a mild case, they can go off to work and everything. Whereas my daughter, she may need a little extra more assistance. So they just like regular people, honestly, just like regular people. They love more. They are honest. So that, I would rather deal with someone who's going to be true to themselves versus someone like you and I that may falsify things, but they are normal people.
Gotcha. Yeah, because and some of the research I was doing too, it was saying something to the effect of, we all have pretty much 46 genes. What makes you have Down syndrome is you have an extra chromosome. Those genes are made up of chromosomes, and we all have 23, which coupled together equals 46. They have 47 though. So that's where the Down syndrome comes in.
It's a chromosome 21.
Okay.
Yeah, chromosome 21.
All right. So with that being said, okay, so like you said, now we at the stage of life, like, well, all right, so let's back up a little bit to those preteen years, so to speak, 8th grade going to high school. What was that like for you as a parent too? I guess I think being a part of a parent for me anyway, I would think male or female, there's something about releasing your children to the world, so to speak. Like
Yeah.
I still remember both of my sons' very first day of school. Period. Like whether it was kindergarten or whatever. I remember their first day of high school. I remember their first days of middle school. You know, things of that nature did. And
Yeah.
each one is like a different challenge, and it gets a little bit more freeing because they're going out there fending for themselves, so to speak. Do you worry a little bit more in those circumstances as you get to junior high and high school about, kids making fun of them? When you talking about the younger they are, we always talk about that. Even I always talk about that when it comes like to racism, so to speak. I'm very profound on that racism is something that's taught. It is not something that's ingrained in people. It's something that's taught.
Exactly.
Because if you take a classroom full of kindergarten children with Chinese, Asian, Black, white, Mexican, any ethnicity group that you would think of, they all just care about playing with each other. They're not going to not play with you because you look different or you think different. So it's something that's taught to us to say. I always say, even when being close to football like I was in coaching and stuff. It's funny how some of these kids can have these sleepovers when they're 5 and 6 years old, but when they get to high school, you know what I mean? You see something different. Well, I wonder why you never came to my house. I always came to your house, so to speak. You start to see different things, and then you start to learn that sometimes it's behavior and things that's been ingrained in them, so to speak. Well, did you worry a little bit more going into that more of a hostile environment as opposed to like kindergarten, first grade?
Well, I did, but the good thing about Jayla, she followed her brother's footsteps. So it's like she was already marked.
Okay.
So she had more of more friendship with the students because that's Ray's little sister. And but even being involved in the school, I didn't see too many of those type students or kids getting bullied. They kept them isolated, but they also had like a group of kids. I don't remember what they were called, but they have like students, regular students that work with those type kids. I guess if they had interest in, being involved, where they helped out with Special Olympics, field trips, and things like that. So,
like a Big Brother program type thing.
Yeah, she had a great middle high school time. She was loved. She was in school.
Now, what kind of student was she, may I ask? What kind of student was she?
Involved. My brother, her brother, right?
Yeah.
Same personality. So it depends on the individual. If you a people's person, if you like to be involved in activities, then they were open to activities just like the other students.
Gotcha. All right, so we're gonna come to now. Now, like you said, we graduated from high school. What is day-to-day life like? A lot of parents, they get to this place where I can't wait till they 18 and they moving out of here. They getting out of my house. You know what I mean? All that did. We all kind of look forward to that sometimes, and when we're raising our kids. And I try to tell my people, I tell people that still have younger children. I say, listen, you think that's where you want to be. You think that's heaven. But I'm like, yo, for the married people, hey, for you empty nesters, guess what? That's when the real conversations start. That's when we got to really find out who we are to one another, how we see each other. Yeah. Like that's a whole different thing. Kids cover up a lot of that then when you're parenting, so to speak. But with having Down syndrome, like being at this stage now, what is a day-to-day life? What is day-to-day life like for Torey as a mom?
Well, she graduated early, honestly. She could have stayed in school till she turned 21, but because of COVID, the pandemic, she came out in 2020, May of 2020, and she was 19. So I'm not going to speak about COVID because our day-to-day with COVID was just like everyone else's. So now that the world is opening back up, she's confined to her room when I'm working. But when I have free time, I try to pull her out and get her involved. Um, we're having a hard time finding a personal assistant, someone who come to just do day-to-day things with her. It's hard to find people like that. And I think a lot of it has to do with pay. And so she had like 2 or 3 people since 21 that just did not last. And they didn't last because of her. They didn't last because of the company who they were working for to assist her. So now that she don't have a personal assistant, it's just she and I, and whenever I can get her out, I'll get her out. How does she cope?
Hey, what's good, Bev? Too. Hey, what's good, is Julian too? See.
I normally, to answer, I think it's going so fast.
Yeah, Beverly. Beverly asks, how does she cope with having a feeling of security when her daughter is not in her presence?
Family. She's normally with family when I'm not around. So pretty much, I monitor with her being a female. I'm particular who she's with, and I do monitor who she's with. If she has a personal assistant, we do a thorough interview, and I feel that person out. And one thing about my daughter, and you would not believe this, my grandmother said this when she was about 3 years old. She said, my daughter will let you know when an individual is a good person. And I kid you not. If my daughter say, I don't like you, I start to look like, why she don't like her, or why she don't like him. But she got that sense of discernment. And God blessed her with that. So I kind of like go off of who she feels comfortable with, as well as who I feel comfortable with.
Gotcha. Yeah, and thanks for the question too, Bev. That was a good one. So I kind of wanted to get in that because you mentioned it a little bit too. Like, again, Down syndrome is not a disease, but how hard is it, or how hard did you find it? Because we talked, and I don't know how much of it you want to get into the racial aspect of it, but it is. I can only imagine how difficult it is. When I talked about on the last several previous shows where the young lady that was run over by the driver in Elizabeth, New Jersey, last month. That was actually one of my high school coach's daughter.
Wow.
So it was near and dear to my heart. But her insurance company wasn't going to pay for anything because they said that she was ran over. Forget the fact that it wasn't her fault. It was done intentionally. So they didn't have to cover. Like, that is asinine. That's crazy that we live in a country where they have laws in place to protect these big businesses, people that have the finances and funding to take care of people, but just don't want to. Just blatantly just don't want to, and looking for any kind of reason or excuse not to. So, like I said, and the reason that I brought up that it's not a disease is because we see money for the St. Jude's Hospital. We see people raise money for cancer awareness and things of this nature here. But how hard do you find it for yourself and other parents dealing with Down syndrome children or autism or whatever the case may be, to find that extra help that you could get financially from the state, from the government, because they do have needs too that's not their fault.
Yeah,
they do need extra help. So how hard is that as far as finding? How hard do you find it as far as getting funding to help you with those endeavors?
There are so many loopholes. There's so many. Well, honestly, some people know the loopholes on getting the resources that they need. And you really need to be connected to those type of people. Like, I have an aunt that lives in Austin, New York. She worked with a center or a home that have kids with Down syndrome that they're still living space, like it's a assistant living
Yeah.
for kids with Down syndrome, well, adults with Down syndrome. And just having a conversation with her, it's paid by the state. And most of the kids that's there are doctors and lawyers. And here we are, mid-income people, low-income people who don't have the services that we need for our community. It's very frustrating. I've spoke to several parents that have kids that came out of high school either before Jayla or along with Jayla. They're doing the same thing. They're home. Their parents have to entertain them. They really don't have a life if they're not out with family, and I'm just trying to get connected with the right people so I can bring the funding and the resources to our community, because it's out there, but if you don't know, it's just going to be out there giving to the people who know how to get the money, how to get the resources. But insurance pay for some type of assistance, but it's not going to pay what you need, like maybe an hour. It's some BS. It's a lot. It's a lot. So that's why I came up with the nonprofit, the lalasdreamcenter.
And that's what we're gonna get to next. That's what we're gonna get to next. Julian said real quick, may God keep strengthening you, miss, to do your job and taking care of your kids. May he send the right people to assist her. And I agree. Like as you were talking, I'm thinking like, yo, yeah, you might need to write a letter to Shaquille O'Neal or something. Shaq, he like giving away, buddy. And like I said, sometimes awareness isn't about that. And I'm like, a lot of people. I was talking to a friend about getting the music for a theme song and whatnot for the show. And I'm like, one thing I don't like is begging people for anything. Like, you know what I mean? I'm only gonna ask you for so many times. And if you say you got me, you got me. And if you don't get me, then we still cool. But I'm not gonna keep asking you for the same thing over and over. He was like, Marv, listen, man. He's like, yo, when it comes to business, you can't think like that. It's not begging.
Yeah, and we don't want to like depend on people.
Exactly.
That's our downfall. It's like, no, it's not. We feel like we're depending on people, but we need to connect with the people in our culture or in our race that knows how to get these type of fundings or get any type of assistance that we need. We need to connect to those people, and not be afraid of sharing information, because some of our people know these things and won't share. And so that's not me. What I know, I will definitely share. And in this area or any area of business, anything that I know, I'm willing to share.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to write some letters to Shaq. We're gonna have to write some letters to the whoever playing for the Panthers and the Bobcats or whatever else.
Yeah.
Hey, help a worthy cause out. You know what I mean? Julian pretty much said the same thing.
I was thinking Ricky Smiley, since he want to joke on those kids with Down syndrome, I have a problem with that. But
there you go.
I feel like he's joking on Chris and what's the other guy's name? It's like, but okay. Since you want to help kids with Down syndrome, here we are.
Julian said the people that know the loopholes need to share because it's other people dealing with the same things. You helping someone, we so selfish sometimes. Absolutely. And that's the same thing that we were saying. Like, we got to get out of that. So thanks to that conversation with my man, I'm kind of like at that point too. When it comes to business is business. It's never personal for me. But if I need your help or you say that you're going to do something, I want to be able to hold you accountable. Hey, listen, man, you know what I mean? I'm not begging you. I'm not even asking for no handout. All I'm doing is ask you to honor what you said you're going to do. Now, if you tell me I need $5,000 for such and such and such and such, that's cool too. I can let you know I ain't got $5,000 for your information, whatever the case may be. But don't say that you're going to do something and then don't do it. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of times, like you say, a lot of people, we don't know. I don't know much about Down syndrome because it's not a part of my everyday life, so to speak. But there's been other causes that we bring light to. And that's one thing that I kind of want to talk about just a little bit, is because as I was preparing for the show today and just spending some time in prayer and whatnot earlier in the day. It was just like I just felt the need to mention that I don't want to see this something as we get ready to talk about the La La Dream Center. I don't want to see this something as a right now moment. You know, we first it was COVID, and then we kind of got over COVID. Then we got the, you know, the whole nobody's out here protesting being killed by police, both police in the streets no more. Like it was like everything's like a moment in time. You know, the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, even though it's still going on, it's like it's not the hot topic that it was when it's fresh. And I don't want this just to be something of the moment. I want this to be something that we support and hold near and dear to our hearts. And once we get on board with this here and make this a successful thing, let's find the next thing. You know what I mean? Children being smuggled. You know, women disappearing.
We got to build our community. We got to build our community. Yeah. Yeah.
Brenda, hey, thanks, Brenda, for tuning in. Brenda said, make sure you find a good
grant writer. Yes. I have one, but I'm searching for more. So I will be putting out ads coming up within the next month. I'm working on some things and looking for some more grant writers with proven track records. You know, not just someone to say, oh, I write grants. I need a proven track record, but definitely.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about it. We don't mention it. What exactly is the Lala's Dream Center? And I love the background there for people that don't think that think that this a finger painting or something like that. No, that's actually the logo for Lala's Dream Center.
Yeah.
Tell the people out here what exactly is Lala's Dream Center.
So Lala's Dream Center is a 501c organization where we support for individuals with Down syndrome and also intellectual developmental disability, because people with Down syndrome may have a little bit of both. It's kind of intertwined, but we will be doing vocational, academic, day support, and vocational, academic, things like that in the community involvement.
Gotcha. Now, what was? As a matter of fact, before we even go on, can you see the comments? I want you to read Beverly's last comment.
You know, I'm trying to keep up.
You need them glasses too.
Thank God for her present.
I was saying, read it out loud for us.
Now, why you want to call me out like that?
My bad. Okay, Dave Chappelle, sister.
Oh boy, I need my
brother always laughing at that. Like, you want me to read? I know how to read. I know you know how to read. But Bev said, thank God for her vision, and through her many will be blessed that do not have the strength or fortitude to see something like her nonprofit prosper.
Thank you, Bev.
Thank you, So while of course, Jayla, that was a big reason. But what made you say, okay, you know what? The funds are not there. We're not getting the assistance that we need. If nobody's going to do anything about it, at least I'm gonna go out trying to do something about it. What made you have that mindset and go ahead and create Lala's Dream Center?
Well, let's point out Lala comes from my daughter's name. Her name is Jayla, and Lala is what we called her, but no longer called her because she's of age, so she have corrected that. So Lala is what we called her growing up as a child. So the Dream Center, you know, it was created because I noticed it was something that is needed. Is needed definitely in the Southeast Raleigh area. There are programs out there. Not sure if any of you know how this works, but there is a program through the state that's called the NC waiver. Well, Jayla has been on that list ever since she was in elementary school. And with me calling them to see where she was at on that list, there's no funding. So just having a conversation with that rep, I would just ask.
You said she's been on this list since elementary school?
Elementary school.
Wow.
And the funding is still not there. So once you're on the program, you're on it for life. But
You have to get there.
There's the number of Down syndrome is 1 to 800 people. So think about that in this Raleigh, North Carolina area, period, because that funding is based on the state of North Carolina, not just the Raleigh area. So that funding is based on the state. And there are a lot of people out there that has Down syndrome. So she's still on that list. So with her being on that list, there is no funding for her to have day support. The insurance.
And that's because she's on the list.
Yeah, she's on the list, but she can't get the full compensation for day support, where they pay for the entire maybe 30 hours a week for her to go to a day support program where she get vocational training, everything that we're scheduled and planning to do at Lala's Dream Center.
Preparing for jobs, preparing for day-to-day interactions, things of that nature.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So with that being said, Lala Dream Center came about because of the shortage. So we can't get the money from the government. How are we going to get the money? People in our community need the service. So as a 501c3, we need the community to help us make this a success. It's definitely needed. I don't want her to go to an institution, because if I give her to the state, okay, yeah, she'll have the service, but I'm giving up my child to the state. I'm not going to do that.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. So me as a mother, as a parent, I'm going to do whatever in my will, in my power, to make sure that I help other parents like myself get our kids, our young adults, the services that they need so that they can be a success in society. She wants to be inclusive. She wants to be involved. She wants to work at Chick-fil-A. Now, having a conversation, just going through Chick-fil-A drive-through, talking to the manager, I don't think it would be open because the manager wasn't nice about it. So, of course, I wouldn't even let my daughter work to that particular Chick-fil-A because that manager weren't open to the idea. Mm-hmm. So we're going to connect with businesses that will allow and that's willing to work with individuals with Down syndrome and these mild intellectual disabilities, so that they want to go to work.
Yeah.
They want to know that they're valued, so that when they get their little paycheck, only if they're working 5 hours a week, it's something.
Yeah.
And then when they're not at work, they'll come to the center. But at that time, they're feeling a little independent. Yeah. I got my paycheck. Let me go to the bank. Let me cash my check. Just the simple things in life will make them happy.
Absolutely. Julian said, what's good, Erica, Janelle, Miss Shakira? Julian said, that's love, miss. You going through what you're going through, but yet you have loving for others also. Bless you. And yeah, with that being said, like, hey, look, I'm serving notice. Like, I'm not even a part of it. I'm a supporter of it. I'm not on no board or no nothing like that there. I didn't know about Lala Dream since I seen the news piece, which I encourage each and every one of you to go to Torey's page and watch. Or I did post it on my page right before when I did the pre-show announcement. And there's also a Lala's Dream Center Facebook page that you could go and get information and find out how you can contribute and be a part of things and whatnot. But I'm just serving notice for you as an individual. Harris Teeter, Home Depot, Popeyes, all these different places. Like, we gonna hold your hand to the fire, yo. You know what I mean? Walmart. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you can hire people as greeters or whatever the case may be, like you said. But if that's enough to make, I was having a conversation with somebody not too long ago that's familiar with the hospital industry. And one thing that I learned about working at a hospital, totally unrelated, but we just talking as needs. Mm-hmm. It blew my mind, Torey, working at a hospital, to see how many people literally drop their parents off at a hospital and leave them there. Mm. Like, I'm not talking about like just taking them in for a test and just like, you know, I like that used to be the thing when children were born, unwanted babies, they would leave them at the fire station. Like people are doing this at hospitals. They're dropping their parents off at hospitals.
Wow.
And most people, if you don't know, like we talked about earlier, if you don't know, you don't know. But I've seen this numerous times at this particular hospital. I don't want to name the hospital, but I've seen it, and I know that they're not an anomaly. You know what I mean? They can't be the only hospital that this is happening at, and I think that's just a travesty. So, you know, what I did was I went from somebody that wouldn't even go visit people in the hospital at this particular time. God brought me into a place where he 360 my life, and he gave me a love for it, where I was at the hospital 7 days a week. Because even on my off days, I knew it was somebody there that had nobody visiting them. Nobody, and it's almost like being locked up in solitary confinement when you don't get to interact with another human being, so to speak. And just look out the window. So I would go just spend 25, 30 minutes with each of them just to talk to them, sing for them, or whatever the case may be, just to make a difference in their day. And they would constantly tell me, you don't know how much this means to me. The only time that I hear somebody else's voice is when the doctors are coming in or the nurses are coming in telling me they need to check my temperature or thing. I don't get to have a real conversation with anyone. So thank you for thinking of us doing this. And like I said, I want to bring awareness to this Down syndrome thing that we're not asking people just because you need money. Everything takes money. You know what I mean? But know that you're giving to a good cause, and not only are you giving it to a good cause, but it's making a difference in somebody's life. Definitely. It could be the difference in your little $5 a week or whatever the case may be. Whatever you give, we don't want to put a number on it. I don't want to put limitations on anybody. But whatever it is that you donate, you don't know if that's the difference in it offering up an opportunity for one of these young men or women with Down syndrome to have a positive outlook on life and say, listen, I have a job to go looking forward to. Like you said, even if it's just 5 days a week, or saying, like, why am I want to be a burden or having suicidal thoughts or whatever the case may be. We don't never want to that whatever you sow may be the difference in that mindset. Yeah. You know what I mean? We just never know. But every little bit, you know, we hear it all the time, every little bit matters. If you can give, like, just give to it. And we're gonna get into that too. And I'm gonna give you the mic too, so you can talk about anything that you wanted to talk about. If you want to debunk, like me and my show Kev did a show a couple weeks, just myths and rumors of connotations around just Down syndrome and like that there. One of the things that I thought was real funny too that I seen earlier, it wasn't funny, it was just ironic. They was like, you know, it's not a disease and it's not contagious. It's not like you could catch Down syndrome. Yeah. So, you know, there's some, but like you said, when people don't know, they don't know. You yourself said, well, until you had Jayla, you had to do it. And once you seen that you had a daughter with Down syndrome, okay, this is something I need to research. This is something I need to learn about because this is in my face and I have to deal with it. So kind of lead us in some of the in ways we can get some of that information to educating ourselves on how we could participate and volunteer sometime in some cases, to where even if we just take them along with us on a shopping trip or whatever the case may be, or you know, things of that nature. There, give us some ideas that you think that we could do in our local communities for everybody that's not necessarily right here in Raleigh. But I know people. Bev, she's up in Maryland. Julie is in South America. Ooh. So you know, if there's people that's out there in different communities that have the same struggle, what are some of the things that we could do of ourselves to help, you know, give them, put a smile on their face, so to speak?
Multiple things. If you work at a company, a manager, open doors, give them the opportunity to work. Just like I said, if it's just only 5 hours a week, it's something. If you have the capability to hire someone that has, you know, this disorder or any intellectual disability, hire them. If you see them out on the street, don't look at them strange. You know, just speak. Very nice people. Just speak. They're just like everyone else. They may be in a good mood. They may be in a bad mood, but just speak. Be nice. If you have a family member that has Down syndrome or any disability, give that parent a break. Like, just take that child out or that individual out. Give that parent a break for like an hour. If it's just once a month, that hour matters. Honestly, it matters. Um, just like I said, there's multiple things you can do. Take them on outings, take them to the park, take them to get ice cream. Just do little simple things. Um, any little thing helps. Any little thing helps. So just don't look at a person with Down syndrome or any disability and be like, I don't feel like being bothered with that type of person, because you will not believe that type of person might put a smile on your face when you least expect it. It's something that's going to happen that you're going to laugh and joke about. You know what she said? Oh, you're going to laugh. We laugh all the time, all the time. So it's always something, never a dull moment.
Gotcha. I love it. All right, so tell them how they could get in contact with you.
I'm gonna put that in the chat.
Yeah, you can put that in the comments as well. Just tell them how they could get in contact with you. Again, that's the Lala's Dream Center, a nonprofit. You asking anybody that can and will donate as you all share this video, and whatnot. And people that's going to view this on YouTube later, please feel free to contribute, share it as well. Get the information out there. The more people that we touch, the more help I believe that we will receive. Hey, what's good, Tina? My cousin Tina in Connecticut, she talked about that earlier. I kind of wanted to have her on another time, Torey, when you could come back. She lives up there in Connecticut, and she said that she worked with children with Down syndrome for about 11 and a half years. And just, being a part of society and doing different activities with them and stuff like that, and some of the joys that it brought her. So, I kind of want to get her insight on that too. I'm telling you, it's the truth. Matter of fact, I kind of want to read to one of the comments from the pre-show announcement too that I had seen. One of my brothers post that I kind of want to bring.
I'm trying to multitask.
No, it's all good. I'm doing the same thing. He said, great topic, my brother. We live with it every day. Jasmine is the joy of our lives. You definitely have to adjust your life to accommodate hers, but it's worth every second. And then they're out there in Arizona. So shout out to Sharon and David and Jasmine as well. Beautiful young lady. See, I always love when you use it as the profile picture, Dave, of you and her at the daddy-daughter dance. It's like such a beautiful thing. It's like, oh my goodness, it's awesome. It's awesome. So kudos to everybody that's out there that's dealing with this. We know Rochelle was a previous guest. Her son Tevin, he has autism. With anybody that's dealing with anything, because guess what? Some of us that don't have any what I call letters, we ain't ADD, we ain't this and we ain't that thing. Some of us, we jacked up in the heads too and put our parents through a lot.
It's something wrong. We just don't have a label.
Yeah, it just ain't been identified yet. I used to tell people that all the time. The only reason I ain't got no letters is because I ain't been tested for them. Bipolar, ain't something. I got some kind of letters because I know that I'm not always right upstairs.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, at the end of the day, Tina said my brother had challenges that we didn't know about. Wow, and that this is you talking about my first cousin, exactly, because I had no idea. You know what I mean?
So we're gonna kind of like Down syndrome or something else.
I don't know. Did you hear that, Tina? She said, was it Down syndrome or something else? Yeah, but I definitely want to get you on again, and like I said, I definitely want to bring awareness to this and keep this as a part of the regular conversation. And maybe the next time you come on, we can talk about progress. We can see where and like I said, it's not about begging, it's about holding hands to the fire. Okay.
Yeah.
We put the information out there. 6 months has gone by, and we only seen $3, or ain't nobody offering nobody no nothing, no relief, no nothing. So then we get to come back again, and we kind of talk about progress and things of that nature. But
definitely. Thank you.
Kudos to you. Yeah, kudos to you. Again, I love that post. Matter of fact, let me because I want to read that right one time before we end.
See, I have to go through all my devices, and if I get off of it, I'm gonna lose something. So yeah, you find it.
because it made me smile on the inside. I can't even lie when I read it. Okay, it says children with special needs aren't sent to special parents. They make parents special. Author unknown. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And again, I want to say kudos to all the parents out there. Happy Mother's Day again to all the mothers that's out there. That's mothering their children, doing their things. I don't like to say. I try to stop saying when it comes to mothers and fathers, the good mothers out there, because or the bad father. You know what I mean? Everybody talk about deadbeat dads when we talk about dads or whatnot. Like at the end of the day, as a parent, regardless of whether you're a mother or a father, just do better. Just do better. Do be the best parent that you can possibly be. Don't let past mistakes keep you from being the parent that you could be today. Don't let your own obstacles, let your own hiccups, you know what I mean, stop you from being a parent, or you worried about what everybody else think. I've never been anybody that worried about what other people think. Like that's something I stand 10 toes down on. So I don't care what your family think. I don't even care what my family think. You know what I mean? I'm big on doing what you feel is best for that particular moment. So if it doesn't compromise your integrity, whatever the case may be, even if it does, sometimes when you talk about parenting, one, those children didn't ask to be here.
Definitely.
You know I mean? That's first and foremost. No one has ever asked to be here, asked to be born. So with that being said, let's take responsibility and be the best parents that we can possibly be, and be involved in our children's lives, and those that don't have children. I'm glad. I feel like that just dropped in my spirit too. That's another big market. People that doesn't have children, can't have children, what case may be. This might be another avenue that God might be leading you into, donations sometime, build these relationships, because those bonds are necessary. You know what I mean? Everything doesn't have to be biological. I hear a lot of people talk about that all the time. I'm one of those type of people. I'm like, I got one mother, I got one father. You know what I mean? But I do have people that are father figures and mother figures in my life. You know what I'm saying? And the older I get, I'm more accepted of it. So sometimes that might be just your calling that God gives you. He might not call for you to be a biological parent, but that doesn't mean that he's still not calling you to be a parent to someone or to assist another parent. You know what I mean? So we can all play a part. We all can make a difference in somebody else's life. Lastly, Ashley said, "Amen." Tina said, "People don't know because what they see, but I asked questions and I figured out my brother was on the spectrum and we didn't know."
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's like I said, that's my family. That's my family, and we got to do better in that. And I'm glad you brought that up, Tina. So we got to do that better in our families.
Yeah,
If we see something, we need to say something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't. It ain't my business. You know what I mean? We see different things that might look. Especially as Black people. I'm just gonna get down to it. Let's stop being afraid of getting our children tested, because some of these jokers, they just ain't badasses. There's something wrong with them. You know what I mean? It's real talk. There's just something wrong with it.
Yeah, something. But don't just go put them on medication.
That's to me, that should be a last resort, because I don't want anybody. Me myself. I never want. That's one of the reasons that even as an adult, I wouldn't get tested for certain things, because I don't want to take these certain pills that's going to take away from who I am.
I'm holistic.
Yeah, who I am is who I make is what makes me who I am. Whether you love it or hate it, that's what it is. I don't want anything that's going to ever dull who I am. Be taking some medicine because, in your opinion, I have a better productive life.
Mood, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm a prisoner inside here. You know what I mean? I see it all the time with people that's dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's when they get older. And like some of the sweetest people, like, no, that other woman just cursed you out. Again, I would rather have somebody that I love dear to me curse me out and know that that's not them, is the condition that they're in, as opposed to having them on some medicines, drugged up and half sleepy.
But speaking about Alzheimer's, since you said that, individuals with Down syndrome has a high risk challenge of getting autism. Alzheimer's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so right now the community, the support community for Down syndrome, they're petitioning the government to include them in the treatment for Alzheimer's and to give them the funding to do the research so that they can get the proper treatment for Alzheimer's.
Okay, that's good.
So,
yeah, I would have never known that either.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do that, man. Like I said, let's put some pressure on some of these local establishments, some of these grocery stores, and some of these food chains. And also let's write some letters. Let's get in the place where we're writing these letters to celebrities, to these councilmen, to these aldermen, to these these local politicians, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
They tell us all the time, even though I was never one really big into the whole voting things and all that. We put people in position. Speaking of which, too, I hope everybody in Newark went out and voted today. Today was election day in Newark, New Jersey. I didn't get to see the results. I meant to look it up. I don't know if Dupre Kelly won for the West Ward councilman or not, but we're praying that everything goes good with them. He's running along with Ros Baraka and different people that's going on. So all that's politics. I had him on the show before, but I don't know how the elections went. But I'm praying God for a good turnout, and I hope that he's doing his thing, because I want to be able to say that not only do I know a councilman, and I've told him this, I just want to be able to say I know a councilman, but I know a hip hop legend, but I want to be able to say I know somebody that talked the talk and backed up what they said. You know what I mean? We see that all the time. People, even with people on the police force, so to speak. I'm kind of going off topic a little bit here now, but nobody ever joined. I don't believe that anybody joins the police force to become a corrupt cop. I think that they become a cop because they want to make change. But when you get into that environment, it kind of engulfs you, so to speak. So I want to see people that's in politics stand on the platform, say what it is that they want to do, and then when they get in that seat, break the norm. You know what I mean?
Well, election is here. Don't forget North Carolina.
Exactly. So let's get out here and vote. And these people that we put in these positions and that's supposed to represent us, let us represent us. Let's write them these letters without concern and see because the same way this voting season is here now, guess what? There's gonna be another one coming. And if you don't do what you say that you're gonna do, guess what? I'm gonna get another chance to vote too. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, let's just hold people accountable and let's play our part in making awareness. Like, let's stop being so busy all the time that I got so much going on and all that. I'm a firm believer that no matter what it is that we're going on, all the challenges that we face in life, there's somebody that's going through something worse than we are. And if we can play a part in healing or helping someone in the midst of our pain and our struggles, I believe that that's where the blessings is, and that's where real love is. That's where your joy is. The Bible says the joy of the Lord is our strength. Trust me, believe me. I find joy in the company of others when they let me know just some of the things. Like that was the craziest thing that I ever heard, but it made me laugh, and I hadn't laughed since ever. So I wasn't doing nothing to be intentional, but it brings me joy to know that I'm bringing joy to someone else. So. Amen. If nothing else, if you can't do that, if you don't have the money to give, you do have the time to give. You have something to contribute. So let's always be mindful of that. Don't say I don't have anything to offer, or I would if I could. You can, so do.
Any amount is appreciated. So, and any amount will be used. So, just do what you can do.
And because you just like me, this ain't going to no Brazilian steakhouse. This ain't going for no head food, none of that. What you give is going to where it's supposed to go.
Where it's supposed to go.
I stand on that, and I vouch for that.
Like, I'm not around with other people's money, and this is not my company. This is the company for individuals with special needs, and that funding that they receive will go to help them and not me.
Absolutely. So again, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, man. I thank y'all.
Thank you.
For rocking out with us, and we're gonna get into what we're gonna do next week for our 100th episode. Still up in the air, but we're gonna fun around with some ideas, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna get with everybody throughout the week and see kind of what direction we want to go in for the 100th episode. Like that's something I was a big TV guy growing up, and I always know that they would make a big deal for sitcoms and stuff when they made it to their 100th show or whatever the case may be. So more than anything else, again, if you guys want to donate the monetary, I just want you to spend your time with me and just talk about the different shows that maybe that's what the whole show about be about. Some of you guys' favorite moments from the show over the last past year. Some of your disappointing moments or the letdowns of the show over the last 100 episodes, whatever case may be. Just so we can get better. I just wanted to be a love fest, and I want to enjoy my time with each and all of you. But I thank you all as usual for tuning in. Torey, I thank you again for opening up, sharing your story, and bringing awareness to us. Give my love, give her a big hug for me, Miss Jayla. And what's good, Ra? And your other daughter, I forgot what's your other daughter name?
Who? Her sister?
Yeah.
Jada.
Jada. But you know, Ra, you know, Cap City. So I already know, you know how that go. But thank you again for just being so candid and getting this information out here, man. We're gonna try to support you. If nothing else, like I said, I speak for myself. I'm going to support you any way that I can, and just let me know how I could be assistant. If you ever need this platform, promote something or push something again, just let me know, and hey, we're gonna make it happen.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right.
But everybody out there, man, you enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of the time with your family. Have a great week. And hopefully, by the help of the Lord, we'll see you again on next Tuesday for 100th episode. And as usual, in signing off, that DeAndre and Lisha know that Daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. So next week, peace.